In today's episode of the Let's Talk Psychology podcast, we're going to talk about why smart kids end up lonely and why they struggle as adults. This audio recording includes subtitles, so you can follow along more intentionally and absorb the ideas at your own pace. Why is it that so many smart kids grow up feeling stuck, disconnected, completely alone? They were supposed to be ahead of everyone else. They were praised, rewarded, told they'd go far, and yet, somewhere along the way, that promise turned into pressure. That praise became a prison. Now, a lot of those same kids, the ones who once stood out, are struggling as adults. They can't find motivation. They feel socially behind. They struggle to start things, follow through, or connect with people. And worst of all, they can't explain why. Because on the outside, everything looks fine. They're still sharp, still capable. But inside, there's this constant sense of isolation, like life is happening to other people, and they're just watching it go by. And it turns out, there's a reason for that. Smart kids often build their entire identity around being smart. And when that happens, the very thing that made them feel special as children becomes the thing that traps them as adults. So, let's talk about why this happens, and more importantly, how to undo it. Because none of this is about failure. It's about a survival strategy that just stopped working. And if you understand how you got here, you can start to find your way out. Segment 3. Storytelling tone. When we're young, our identity is simple. Kids latch onto one or two traits and build their entire sense of self around them. A kid might say, "I like Pokemon," or "I love chicken nuggets." It's one-dimensional, but that's normal. That's how identity starts. And one of the most powerful labels a child can receive is, "You're smart." That phrase sticks. It's reinforced by teachers, parents, classmates. It becomes a core part of how you see yourself. And for a while, it feels amazing. Being smart gives you praise, attention. Life feels like easy mode. You pick things up quickly, you stand out. But here's the hidden cost. You're being praised, not for working hard, but for effortless success. You got attention when you solved the problem quickly, when you aced the test without trying, when you understood it the first time. And over time, you internalize a dangerous belief. If I'm smart, things should be easy. And that belief, it quietly sabotages your entire future. Because when something isn't easy, when you fail or don't understand something right away, it doesn't feel like a normal challenge. It feels like a threat to your identity. You think, if I'm supposed to be smart, then why am I struggling? So instead of leaning into difficulty, you start avoiding it. You don't raise your hand unless you're sure. You don't try games unless you know you'll win. You don't chase your passions, because what if they expose you as someone who isn't so smart? And slowly, your world shrinks. You only do what you're already good at. You stay in familiar territory. You protect the smart kid image at all costs. Meanwhile, everyone else is out there experimenting, trying, failing, growing. And you're stuck in a comfort zone that gets smaller every year. Eventually, your whole identity is built on something fragile, and now you can't afford to fail. That's when the isolation begins. Because when you stop growing, you stop connecting. Connection happens through shared experiences, awkward phases, trying hard things together. But you start opting out. You don't join the club, because what if you're bad at it? You skip the group project, because it's frustrating. You slowly step out of the social flow, but you still crave connection, right? So you fall back on what you know, your intellect. You observe people, analyze them, run social simulations in your head. That's called cognitive empathy. You understand emotions, but don't feel them. And it works, up to a point. You keep up socially. You may even seem charismatic. But deep down, you're exhausted. Because instead of just being with people, you're calculating every move. Now, socializing becomes something you have to be good at too. So once again, you avoid it. and now the loneliness really begins to sink in. But you're smart, right? You should be able to fix this. So you try logic, you try rationality, you write lists, you analyze yourself, and none of it works. Because intelligence can't fix emotional pain. There's no spreadsheet for self-worth. You can't think your way into feeling okay. And when the pain gets too sharp, your ego steps in with one last defense. I'm just different. They're not as deep as me. I don't relate because I'm smarter. But that's not confidence. That's defensive arrogance. A mask for loneliness. A wall between you and the world, and even when you want to connect. The wall doesn't let you, because real connection, it requires presence, humility, vulnerability. So how do we fix this? Step 1. And this is non-negotiable. You have to stop identifying as the smart kid. Not because being smart is bad, but because building your worth on it is toxic. When your value depends on effortless success, you start to fear effort. You avoid risk. You sabotage yourself. The fix? Build a new identity, not around being smart, but around being willing to grow. Segment 12, Empowering Tone. Ask yourself, what will help me move forward? Not, what will make me look intelligent? Let yourself be a beginner. Try things and be bad at them. Show up, not to win, but to participate. Yeah, it's awkward. It's messy. It feels like going backward. But it's not. It's the first real step toward becoming whole. The old identity said, you matter because you're special. The new identity says, you matter because you're human. You're allowed to grow slowly. You're allowed to feel lost. You're allowed to not know what you're doing. But you have to take the step anyway. Not a perfect one. Not a clever one. Just an honest human step forward. If you feel stuck, disconnected, or numb, if you've spent your life trying to be the smartest person in the room and now don't know how to be anything else, this is where you begin. Let go of the story. Stop trying to be impressive. Start trying to be real, because you don't need to be the smartest person in the room to belong in it. You just need to show up, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when you're not sure who you are anymore. And when you do, you'll start to feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Connection. Not because you earned it, not because you deserved it, but because you were finally willing to step off the pedestal and into the world where the rest of us live. And that world? It's not so bad. In fact, it's the only place where you can truly be seen. And maybe, for the first time, it's the only place where you can finally feel at home. If this episode resonated with you, if you recognized yourself in any part of it, leave a comment and share what stood out. You're not alone, and sometimes just naming the pattern is the first step toward breaking it. Thanks for listening to the Let's Talk Psychology podcast. Take care of your mind. Must be, and I'll see you in the next episode.